Good afternoon, welcome back. This session we are going to see a new chapter, the chapter 7, body fluids and circulation. So, last session we have discussed in detail about the respiratory system, its significance, functions and disorders. Similarly, so in this chapter, so we are going to discuss in detail about the body fluids and circulation. So, what is body fluid and circulation? The body fluid, that blood, the lymph and other substances which are called body fluids. The body fluids, namely that blood and other substances which circulate, which circulate throughout the body, which moves continuously from one place to another place. That is called circulation. That movement throughout the body that circulates, runs again and again, that is circulation. What is the need for circulation? So that only we are going to discuss. And listen, so what is the need or importance for the body fluids and circulation? See, the previous chapter we have discussed the respiration, the lungs which is the principal organ for the gaseous exchange. So, from the lungs, that oxygen that is diffused into the blood, and that blood carry that oxygen to the target organ, namely the tissues. It delivers that oxygen, diffused oxygen from the lungs, which is transported and delivered to the target organ, namely tissues, by the blood. So, by the blood. So, that it is that blood, it is generally called, it is a fluid, body fluid. Blood is one of the body fluids. That mainly that helpful for transportation. Listen, why there is a transportation is needed? That is next question, that blood transport the substances. If you take lower organisms, take one amoeba, there is no efficient circulatory system, there is no any means of transport. Then how it take the substances that needed simply from that surrounding, by simple process of diffusion, it takes the oxygen. Similarly, that send out the carbon dioxide simply by the body surface, by the process of diffusion, higher concentration to lower concentration, simply that penetrates. But why we should have a pakka, highly efficient system for transportation? That is important, since the tissues, that is amoeba, is unicellular. All the substances, gases which are surrounds the cell, so simply by the process of diffusion it absorbs, it takes. But take the human being, so the tissues which are far away from the sources, this is the that is stomach, this is the source of the food. Suppose if the tissues are, all the tissues surrounds the source of food, there is no need for any transportation. It takes simply by the process of diffusion, it will absorb the food. But that source of food, it is stomach, it is here, and tissues head to food, that far away from the source, so that there is a efficient, we need a efficient mechanism for transport the substances, like what is that respiratory gases from the lungs to the tissues, and food from the intestine to all parts. Similarly, the hormones secreted by the endocrine glands, ductless glands, it should that hormones, it should reach every cell of the body, that target organs, it should reach the target organ. How it reaches? With the help of the efficient system that is called circulatory system. All the cells of the body, it should be supplied with the respiratory gases and nutrients and hormones. So that is achieved by the highly developed system, that system, right? I said already that lower organisms, simple organisms like sponges and coelenterate, there is no highly developed circulatory system, since it is very small, very few cells, that is everything is surrounded by the tissue. So it simply get by the process of diffusion. Lower organisms like sponges and coelenterate, no circulatory system, since that is everything that is surrounds the tissues. There is no need to transport, not far away, the tissues. Okay, so that's why. So these lower organisms have no any special type of developed that system for transportation like circulatory system. Then how it gets the substances, that exchanging the substances through the diffusion process. And the more complex organisms like us, like human beings, that more complex organisms that develop the special type of system, circulatory systems for transportation, right? And so you may ask, so what is the problem, say, in the transport, in the exchange? நம்ம பாடியும் by the process of the diffusion it may occur. Simple system நடந்தா என்ன? So why not the diffusion takes place? Instead of diffusion, there is a system. Why the need for the, what is the need for a special system? Diffusion la ஆகலாமே. One, listen. The substances சொல்றான் பாருங்க, 1 ml of the blood from heart to feet, it comes, that blood from 1 ml, heart from feet, it transports, it goes, then once again coming to the heart through the circulatory system. It takes just 60 seconds, it takes 60 seconds the transport of the blood from heart to feet, then once again return back to the heart, it will take some 60 seconds. Suppose if the same that blood, if it goes to the feet by the process of diffusion, it will take so much time, it consume much time, okay, much time, since that process, that diffusion is very, very slow. It will take many months and years together to reach the that blood by the process of diffusion to the food, and it return back, it will take more years. Okay, that's why that time, very short period, so that goes to one place to another place, that substances are transported. That is the advantage of the circulatory system, that is the advantage of the highly developed circulatory system. Okay. So in our body, as we discussed earlier, nutrients and excretory products that transported to the excretory organ like kidney for excretion, and hormones, so which are transported through that circulatory system to the various parts of the body. So the transportation which is achieved by fluids, Okay, that fluids, in that fluid, that substances, the substances are dissolved and transported. So, the substances which have to be transported or dissolved in the body fluids. So, in our body there are two types of body fluids are there, two types of body fluids. There are intracellular fluid and extracellular fluid, intracellular and extracellular fluid. What is intracellular fluid? That fluid which is found inside the cell is called intracellular fluid. Extracellular fluid outside. Okay, outside, that is called extracellular fluid. See, listen, this is cells. Okay, these are cells. That fluid which is found inside the cell, you know, that cytoplasm, that cytoplasm is the intracellular fluid. Extracellular fluid outside the cell, that fluid which is present outside the cell is called extracellular fluid. Extracellular fluid, intracellular and extracellular fluid. There are two types of body fluids are seen in our body. So, we are going to discuss the extracellular fluid in detail. Extracellular fluid. Okay, there are three types of course, we are not going to discuss the intracellular fluid, you know, the cytoplasm. We are not going to discuss the intracellular fluid because so that fluid is not involved in the transportation. Okay, so not circulate. So it is it remain inside the cells. Only that the extracellular fluid only, so that they involve in the transportation of the substances. So that we are going to discuss in detail about the extracellular fluid. There are three types of extracellular fluids are there, namely interstitial fluid, plasma and lymph. So these are the three major extracellular fluid found in our body. What are they? Interstitial fluid surrounds the cell, and the plasma. The plasma, you know, that is the which is the constituent of the blood, which is the fluid component of the blood is the plasma, and the lymph. Okay, a colorless fluid which what is that? Circulates like the blood is the lymph. So these three are the major extracellular fluids. Interstitial fluid. So interstitial fluid, the plasma and the lymph. So these are the three types of extracellular fluid. This is 2 marks or 1 mark. Name the extracellular fluid. Okay, interstitial, plasma and lymph. Okay, and then how this is very important. How the substances are transferred? Blood carry pannadhu. Okay, sir, I do agree. Blood carry the substances. How it is delivered? How it is delivered to the tissues? So listen, blood vessel carry the substances. Artery divided into, that is arterioles. Artery into arterioles. Arterioles further divided into capillaries. Arteries further divided into capillaries. Okay, capillaries. Okay, capillaries varranga. Ipo enna aguna, listen, this cells, this blood capillaries. See, listen, this is blood capillary, then transportation, substances are transported via blood. These are the tissues. Eppadi in the substances are delivered to the, how the substances delivered to the tissues. அப்படியே டைரக்டாக கனெக்ட் ஆகிருக்காது, நாட் டைரக்ட்லி கனெக்டட் வித் தி டிஷ்யூஸ். இதோட முடிஞ்சிருக்கும், அவ்வளோதான். ஓகே, எப்படி அப்புறம் வரும் அப்படின்னு வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, லிசன், தட் இஸ் வெரி இம்பார்ட்டன்ட். ஸோ பிகாஸ் ஆஃப் தி ஹைட்ரோஸ்டாட்டிக் ப்ரெஷர், the hydrostatic pressure is maintained, osmotic pressure. So here, so in the arteriole, the hydrostatic pressure is more. Hydrostatic pressure is more. So here less. that interstitial in between that spaces, the interstitial space, that hydrostatic pressure is less. So the dissolved substances in the blood, that comes through the small holes present in the arteriole. அப்படியே இங்கே வர்றாங்க, escapes, that molecules which are dissolved in the fluid, so that penetrates coming through that small holes found in that capillaries, reaches the interstitial fluid, that interstitial fluid, and now reaches the interstitial. From the interstitial, okay, so that is by the process of osmosis or diffusion. So once again that goes to the tissues. This is the mechanism of the delivery of the substances from blood to the tissues. So that is, it is because of that hydrostatic pressure, higher to lower, that hydrostatic pressure is maintained between that blood capillaries and the tissues. So the higher hydrostatic pressure to that lower hydrostatic pressure, that substances, the dissolved substances which are escaped from the small holes found in the capillaries, and then that reaches the tissues. That is, the hydrostatic pressure is maintained. The hydrostatic pressure is maintained. Okay. Body fluid, the blood in our body, that blood which is the major body fluid that involved in the transportation of the substances. So what is the composition of the blood? What is the composition? Blood is the major fluid. What is the composition? So right, the blood, which is the fluid connective tissue, as I said, it is the major connective tissue which is composed of the blood which is composed of the plasma and formed elements. The blood composed of the plasma, a fluid component, a fluid matrix. So in that the formed elements, namely RBC, WBC, platelets, okay, so which are found, okay, so which are found in that fluid matrix, which are dispersed in that fluid matrix, namely plasma. So the blood, which is composed of a fluid matrix and formed elements, that composition of the blood. Okay, that plasma and what are the components? That plasma and formed elements, So what is the percentage of the plasma? What is the percentage of plasma? Listen, very important. 55% of the blood which is composed of the plasma. 55%. Remaining 45%. Plasma is 55%. That fluid. That other elements, substances, cells, that are formed elements. So that is composed of some 45%, which is the blood, of the blood is composed of the formed elements. Okay, formed elements. And next, so in our body, what is that amount of the blood found? What is the quantity? How much blood is found in our body? Very important MCQ. An average blood volume in a normal healthy individual, it's weighing 70 kg. Average individual of 70 kg, normal healthy individual weighing 70 kg of the weight, approximately that amount of the blood is 5000 ml or 5 liters. Approximately நம்ம பாடியில் எவ்வளோ இருக்கும்? ஒரு 5 லிட்டர் பிளட் இருக்கும். A man, normal health conditions, weighing 70 kg. ஒரு 70 kg weight உள்ள ஒரு இண்டிவிஜுவல் உன் பாடியில் வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு approximately 5000 ml, that is 5 liters of the blood இருக்கும். 5 liters of blood இருக்கும். 1 mark. Plasma percentage 55, formed elements 45 percentage. Okay. Then we are going to discuss each and every one in detail, that plasma and the formed elements. Plasma 55 percentage, plasma it is the 55 percentage of the blood is composed of the plasma. So, what is the composition of the plasma? What is the composition of the plasma? Right? You know that plasma, which is the fluid component, it consists of water. It mainly that plasma composed of water, plasma protein, inorganic and organic substances, and respiratory and excretory products. These are all dissolved in the plasma. Water, mainly water, 80 to 92 percentage of the plasma is composed of water. Plasma, 80 to 92 percentage of the plasma is composed of water, plasma protein, inorganic salt 0.9 percentage, and organic constituents 0.1 percentage, and respiratory gases and excretory products which are dissolved. So, in the plasma. And the plasma proteins, what do you know? H2O, that is very simple. We are not going to discuss in detail about the water, 80 to 92 percentage, and plasma protein. Coming to the plasma protein, there are four types of plasma proteins are there. In the plasma, the protein is there, that is plasma protein. There are four types of plasma protein, very important: albumin, globulin, prothrombin and fibrinogen. Albumin, globulin, prothrombin and fibrinogen. So, these are the four types of the protein found in the plasma, commonly known as plasma protein. Plasma protein. Albumin, very important, very important. Name the proteins found in the plasma: albumin, globulin, prothrombin and fibrinogen. What is the function of the each? The next, very important: albumin, osmotic pressure, that maintains the osmotic pressure. Because of the albumin, that creates the variation, osmotic potential, so that osmosis takes place, exchanging the substances. Osmosis, albumin, osmosis, pairing is a memory technique. That function of the albumin, osmosis, okay. Albumin, that maintains the osmotic pressure. Globulin, that facilitate what? The transport of the ions, hormones, okay, that ions and hormones for the transportation. Also immune function. Globulin, some of the proteins which are responsible for the immunity, that are called immunoglobulins, that is antibodies, that form the antibodies that responsible for the immune function, body resistance, protection against the diseases. Immune function, globulin, prothrombin and fibrinogen, which are involved in the blood clotting process, blood coagulation. Usually any wound occurs, any cutting, that usually the blood will bleed. That blood, it should clot within 5 to 8 minutes. Within 5 to 8 minutes, that blood, it should clot. Otherwise, through that small cut, all the blood will ooze out. Cycle puncture ana mari chinna or hole valiya ella kaathu vella vandrum puncture andha mari aidum. Okay, so it should not okay, if blood is not clotted, all the blood will ooze out. That leads to death. That disease is called hemophilia. So, that condition is prevented by these proteins, namely prothrombin and fibrinogen, that helpful for the clotting. Cutting achina blood varum. Immediately after some time, that bleeding will be stopped. The blood coagulation or blood bleeding, that is blood coagulation. or clotting. That bleeding will be, thus it is stopped because of these proteins found in the plasma, namely prothrombin and fibrinogen. Very important function of the proteins, plasma protein, albumin, globulin, albumin osmotic pressure, globulin exchange of the ions, transportation of the ions and immune function, prothrombin, fibrinogen for blood coagulation, and organic constituents, urea, amino acids, glucose, fat and vitamins are the organic substances which are dissolved in the blood plasma. The inorganic substances like chlorides, carbonates, phosphate, potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, okay, non-carbon, that is inorganic constituents, right. And the next is that composition of the plasma, which is not always constant, that substances, organic, inorganic substances which are found in the plasma, which will vary. For example, when eating, after eating immediately, okay, that blood glucose level will be higher in the plasma. Blood glucose level is higher. Then after some time, after that is that plasma, that is that glucose which are converted into energy, and apart from that any extra glucose are there which are cleared by the insulin and converted, that glucose is converted into glycogen and stored in the liver and muscle for the future use. So now that glucose level will be low. After eating food, so that is more. So thus that blood, that composition, that organic, inorganic substances present in the plasma varies, so that the composition of the plasma, it is that varies time to time, not always the same, not always constant, not always constant, not always constant. Okay, that excess, just now I said excess glucose which is converted into glycogen, excess of glucose is converted into glycogen and stored in the liver and muscles for future use by the hormone insulin. Okay, coming to the protein. Sir, I am eating more protein. நிறைய சாப்பிட்றேன் protein. அது ஸ்டோர் ஆகுமா? ஆகாது. So you know that protein, that end product of the protein is the amino acids. Amino acid. So after the digestion of the protein, that amino acids that reaches excess amino acids, it cannot be stored. எவ்வளவு தேவையோ அது மட்டும் தான் எடுத்துக்கும் body. It consumes how much it needed. That extra amino acids are listen, converted into urea. The excess amino acid that cannot be stored, that cannot be stored, so which is converted into the urea in the liver, urea in the liver. So that you know urea which is excreted through the urine, that urea which is excreted through the urine. And then next is the formed elements, the composition of the blood, plasma and formed elements. So far we have discussed the plasma and the formed elements. What are the formed elements? That cells which are found in the plasma are called formed elements. So that we will discuss in the next class in detail. Okay, thank you, bye bye.